security for me, so they spent over $100,000 on security last quarter, but she wants to defund the police. But our speaker today is running against her for the 5th Congressional District. Let's welcome Cecily Davis.
Wow, what a kid. What a kid. He's the future of America, you guys. He's the future of America. Yeah. I like it. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for having me. I was just here last Wednesday for the CD5 meeting. There you go. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
Magic.
So I think that I saw quite a few of you at the Capitol, and rallies are always fun because you get to be on stage, and you know, if you have a few tough messages, you get to. I love to be that person to just rile everybody up, but I'm facing something pretty serious, and if you are in CD5, you're facing something pretty serious. We have a pivotal day tomorrow. City elections, where we will be electing mayor, park board, city council, and we will be deciding on a public safety amendment that is being funded by an external, someone who doesn't even live in Minnesota, is pushing this agenda to defund our police, to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. And I kind of walked in a little heavy, and Matt's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I just feel the weight of that right now. Last Thursday, I went to Linden Park, and I wanted to hear from, there were some liberal people who were standing around, and they were kind of talking about giving their opinion as to what question number 2 is going to mean. And that was really tough and frustrating for me. I went there to listen, to not give my opinion. I just wanted to literally hear what the other side had to say and how they think. And as I was standing there at that time, 76 people had died by way of gunshots in Minneapolis. And so they're standing and they're talking about the notion of defunding the police and not really beefing up the staff with the Minneapolis police and not refurbishing it, but putting in place healthcare officials and social workers to show up. And as I've been touring around CD5 and I've been talking to police departments and I've been talking to healthcare officials and I've been talking to social workers, I actually asked the social workers and they said, "You know what? No one's actually talked to us. No one asked us, because guess what? I don't want to show up on a scene with a police officer when there's someone is in a tough situation. I'm not built for it. I'm not interested in going through the training, and I'm built for after the effect. Once that person is arrested or once they're put in the hospital, that's my job, to come in and be that soft place to land." And so we have all these policies coming from people who have no practicality, who have actually no experience, who've never been on a ride-along, who's never actually watched police officers at work. I talked to police officers and they said, "You know what? Huge liability for us to have someone show up with us on scene in a very unpredictable scenario, and now we have to worry about the assailant. We have to worry about bystanders and citizens, and now we have to care for this healthcare official." It's really tough. And so no one asked. There's just this agenda that's being pushed by my opponent, by the Attorney General, and for all those who raised their fists in the air and was marching in the streets last summer saying, "Defund the police." And so tomorrow that comes to a head. Unfortunately, Minneapolis is ground zero for defund the police. And we are making headlines for all of the wrong reasons. And it's just time for us to change that narrative. So tomorrow morning, I've been invited, this just happened about 3 hours ago, to be on Fox and Friends in the morning. And I'm gonna talk about this public safety amendment. And I will have someone sitting next to me who is on the opposite side. Now, this gentleman's a pastor, and he actually agrees that we should not defund the police, which is really great. But I really, really want to turn to him and say, not only should you not defund the police, but you need to change all of the policies that we're falling under that's causing our communities to fail and to suffer, and for people to suffer under in massive amounts of crime and carjacking and violent crimes and shootings. And so it truly is great to be here, you guys, because, well, you're just family. What are we talking about tonight? Mandates and masks. When you really just boil down to, it's just talking about our freedoms. So what I want to do is just kind of be radical, like my opponent, Ilhan Omar.
Not quite like that.
A little different, but not quite like that. I'm going to be radical by telling the truth.
Woo!
Yeah. So here's the truth. America is exceptional.
Oh yeah.
America is founded on godly principles, and our Constitution is founded on godly principles. That's the truth. Abraham Lincoln was an American hero.
Yeah.
And Thomas Jefferson was an American hero. And George Washington was an American hero. We have, in America, an absolutely beautiful, exceptional history. Yes, there's parts of it that are really good and great. And there are parts of it that are bad. And there are parts of it that are ugly. No nation is perfect. But what I can tell you is that America, 193 nations on the globe, is the only one who has never, ever, ever changed its constitution. It is enduring, and that makes us exceptional. Here's another truth. All lives matter. Another truth. Police officers here in this district, in Minneapolis, and all across America, they put their lives on the line every day to keep us safe. Police officers are heroes. That's another truth. America is not a racist country. Really like that one. Republicans and conservatives are not racist. Critical race theory is divisive. It is based on an ideology that separates us, causes division, doesn't make us feel good, and it's reverting us back to segregation. That's the truth. So you talk about freedom. We are free. That's the greatest truth, is that we are free. It's in our DNA. If you are born on American soil, you're born free. Here's another truth, that if you're born on American soil and you are free, that makes you privileged. We're all privileged. I heard Ronald Reagan say something. He was on Johnny Carson. This is before he was pledging to make this run for president, and he said, if you triple the problems in America, we're still doing better than everybody else on the globe. We are exceptional. America owes absolutely no one an apology. Absolutely no one an apology. Only an opportunity. That's it. No apologies, only an opportunity. So I'm running against someone who absolutely hates America. She hates Jewish people. She makes that very clear. She's overt about it. She hates Black people. She makes that very clear. When you tell someone, an entire city of people, that they don't have the right to defend themselves, and you want to eradicate the very entity that protects them, then you hate them. So Ilhan Omar hates Jewish people, that's obvious, but she also hates white people, and she hates Black people, and she hates Hispanic people. She hates everyone who lives in my district. For that reason alone, I cannot simply lie down and allow her to continue. I have to, with your support, rail against her and her quote-unquote leadership. We're suffering. We are suffering not just in Congressional District 5, but we are suffering in America under massive leadership failure. Afghanistan was a complete and utter failure, and we lost precious lives. Our borders are out of control. They won't acknowledge it. They don't acknowledge it. Massive leadership failure. Our dollar is being devalued every day. We're losing our buying power. We're losing our businesses. Parents are losing the right to choose their child's education and to view curriculums and decide where their children attend school. A zip code dictates the education of children today. That needs to change. There is a massive exodus in Minneapolis right now from businesses and from citizens. And I gotta tell you guys, I really love Minneapolis. I live downtown Minneapolis. I live in a condo, and I'm about a block away from US Bank Stadium. I walked to the Vikings game to watch them lose miserably. That was really tough. I know. That was tough. That was tough. But I see things boarded up. There are businesses who have left Minneapolis with no promise to return. There are businesses that are contemplating on leaving right now. If we do not come up with policies and incentives for them to stay, the star of the North, and a lot of people argue with me about that, but I say Minneapolis is the star of the North. I know I'm biased, but what's really great about Minneapolis, we're gonna lose it. And so enjoying to go to see the Twins or the Timberwolves or the Minnesota Vikings, all that will go away. Last night, I heard some people when I were walking through the crowd, we were coming out, and I heard some people say, you know what, it was really great to see the game, but walk fast because I feel uneasy. I just want to get to my car, right? So they couldn't get rid of those season tickets, but when they were out in the streets, they felt uneasy. They felt like they just wanted to get from the game to the car without incident, even though they were surrounded by a mass amount of people. That's the impact that this crime is having. And so we have to change that. So our top administration, as we said, is making disastrous decisions to cost the lives of our brave men and women in service. And I mentioned to you last week that when I listened to those people talking in the park, that was 76. We're now up to 86. So 10 more people have died by gunshots since last week, since last Thursday. So that hasn't even been a week. So what I think is obvious today, all of you and those in America who are actually paying attention, who aren't sleeping, is that we're not just heading in the wrong direction. We are just like a bullet train careening towards the edge of a cliff. And something has to be done. So we have to make a decision that America is exceptional and that we won't apologize for it and that we will tout our red, white, and blue, and we will stand up when we hear our anthem. And gentlemen will pull off their hats and put it across their chest to the right, and us women will put our hands on our hearts to the right, and we'll say that Pledge of Allegiance with pride. And we want to apologize for it, and we'll say it really loud. We will relish in our history, and we'll tell it in its entirety, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we can honor what's great about us and great about American history, but that so we also don't repeat those mistakes that we've made in the past as well. I think about being born free, and I think about the border. And when I look at the border and I see people rushing to get here, I think about that. I said, you know, no one's trying to come to America because we're a racist country. They're really, really racist over there. Let's head towards America. No one's trying to get into America because we hate one race versus another. They're trying to get here because they want to taste what we are just born into. They want to taste and experience what's in our DNA. They actually want to know what it feels like to be like us, to be exceptional, to be from an exceptional nation, so that they can have the opportunity to leave a legacy for their future, for their children, and the next generation, and then the next generation beyond. They want to have a hand in that experience of knowing and living under a constitution that is enduring. They want to reap the benefits of the Bill of Rights. Can't blame them for that. We just want them to do it legally. We need them to do it legally. The American flag. Red, white, and blue. 50 stars representing states united, like all of us in here, united. Red for hardiness and valor. Maybe it's the red for all the bloodshed that stains our soil and the people who gave their lives to make sure that we remain exceptional. White for purity and innocence. And I said that to my mom, and she said, well, yeah, white's pure, and she's a little cynical. I know what she was thinking, but when I think about white and divinity and the concept of personal responsibility and nobleness and honor and integrity and the right, the absolute beautiful red, white, and blue patriotic right to self-determine. That is huge. I was born in the black monolith. We have a kid in here, so I'm gonna curve the story.
Oh, he's good. Yeah.
Okay, so I was given, God bless America. I was given my birds and bees talk and my political talk all wrapped up in one. Took about
Oh dear.
10, 15 seconds. My mom, you're gonna love this. So my mom sat my sister and I down and she said, okay, so when it comes to the birds and the bees, just don't bring any babies in this house. And when it comes to politics, one's for the rich, one's for the poor. Republicans and Democrats. We're Democrats, so you're gonna always vote Democrat. And that was it. That was it. That was my birds and bees talk and political talk. And then we wanted to go out. She said, make sure you bring the car back full of gas, and that's that. So I didn't question. I just went along because that's just what you do in the black monolith. If you are a member of the black community, you don't question. And so you vote all things black, and you support all things black, and you tout for all things black, and you don't step outside of those lines, because if you do, then you're a traitor, you're a race traitor, you know, you're all kinds of names and things like that, and you've heard them all, they're despicable. And I started questioning during Bush's presidency. And I had 0 people to talk to about that. No one. I am literally, on my maternal and fraternal side, the only conservative in my family. So I had literally no one to talk to, none of my friends at the time. I voted for Obama. I needed to see someone who looked like me become president of the United States because of Black history and because of the Black experience in America. And then Obama was impressive because what he was actually saying was everything that I needed to hear. And when he was on 60 Minutes and the gentleman asked him, if you don't make it as president, if you're not elected in office, do you think it's because of your race? Do you think it's because you're Black? And he said, no. It will be because I haven't done what it takes to prove to the American people that I have what it takes to run the country. And I said, oh, finally, a Black politician who's not talking civil rights and he's not preaching to us. He's literally talking about character and ability and merit. And so I just ran to the booth with all the enthusiasm. And then once he got in, something completely different. And then an orange man slid down an escalator. And all the things that I thought Obama stood for was coming out of this guy's mouth. He was talking about America first. He talked about American exceptionalism. He talked about why our borders need to be protected. He talked about why our allies should be paying us if we're protecting them. He talked about our position on the globe and that we are the model. We are the standard here in America. We're the innovators. We're mimicked for a reason and we're hacked for a reason because we are just, forgive me for just, I'm laying this on thick, we're just exceptional people. And so I'm like, that's my president. That's the guy that I want to vote for. So where does all this stop? When does it stop? Well, we have to change our vote. Now we in here, we've got it right. We've got it right. But my district, you guys, is made up of, I'm 22% base supporters, conservatives, Republicans, and then I have to deal with 63.3% liberals. And that is my challenge. That's where I'm going to have to spend most of my time. Dealing with people who have the Black Lives Matter sign in their yard, trying to sell me my victimhood, trying to literally with defunding the police and critical race theory and not allowing parents to choose their child's curriculum is literally killing us and eroding what we know as America. So that's my challenge, but I'm grateful today and I'm hopeful today because I see the base is growing more and more brave, standing in front of superintendents and school boards, and I see the base at the Capitol, in the streets, putting up signs, knocking on doors, doing lit drops, making phone calls, giving funds. But I also see there's a blue awakening happening in my district as well, where there's infighting because common sense is starting to kick in. Yeah, it's encouraging. And you know, I thought I wanted to defund the police, but now that my car has been jacked, and I'm afraid to stand on the bus stop with my kids and my neighbor's kids, and it's really difficult to plan and protect against a stray bullet, I realized that I was probably off a little bit. And maybe I meant well, but I need the police. We need the police. And so tomorrow is a pivotal day. Like I said, I'm really, really hopeful. But I have to convince those people that they don't speak for me, and that terms like white privilege and white fragility and equity need to be done away with. And I need to get them to embrace that America owes no one an apology. And I gotta get the Black community to really, really open their ears and their hearts and realize certain things, that there is a party that is absolutely interested and deliberate in keeping you down so that you can't assimilate and that you can't succeed, and that you're not being considered and you're not able to participate in America's wealth because of the policies and the leaders that you keep voting in. They're getting rich. They have protection. They don't live in the neighborhoods you do. And yet they're asking you to vote a certain way. That probably is one of my greatest challenges. Everyone here in this room, everyone who identifies as conservative and Republican benefits from the American experience. Everyone who is blue or liberal benefits from the American experience. Everyone who crosses our borders illegally benefits from the American experience. My opponent, who's an immigrant who came to this country and became successful and applied American principles and became a success and now works in Congress, benefits from the American experience. And yet she turns around and hates America and hates its people. And we simply can't allow that. So I applaud your strength. It's the wind beneath my wings, truly. Each one of us has the ability to impact someone else in their own very different way. And for me, I stepped up for Congress. Some others lead nonprofits and educate people. Others are grassroots activists. Some people stand in front of school boards. Some do lit drops and phone calls and fundraise. But I really still believe in the ethical and moral fiber of America, and I know it's still there. Our Constitution is under attack. Our Bill of Rights is under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack. Your right to bear arms and protect yourself against tyranny is under attack. Citizens against criminals in Congressional District 5 especially are under attack. And so therefore your right to self-determine and be a free, liberated American is under attack. We are a constitutional democracy. Constitutional republic. I'm sorry. We are a constitutional republic. The Constitution, the ever-enduring American Constitution. It defines us. It's what we live by. It's why people are dying to get here, and no one's dying to leave. So I implore you to continue to support the American experience, to support each other, continue to wave that flag and sing that anthem, and know our history and tell it in its entirety, and to educate and protect children and the institution of family. and guarding morality and just being wonderfully American. So leave here today more conscious than ever of your freedom. Should look for it and listen for it and guard it and protect it. The very thing that distinguishes us from any other nation on the globe is our Constitution and our freedom and our liberty. And the sobering truth that we are simply free. The role of government is to be very minimal as we exercise our freedoms to the max. I'll close with this. We serve an exceptional God. If you're atheist and agnostic, you ignore, do not acknowledge an exceptional God. Our freedom is our weapon, you guys. It is our anthem. It defines us here in Minnesota. It defines us across this country. And it is absolutely the way of America. Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Give it up one more time.